Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Saturday episode of Ted's Booze Cellar with me, your most gracious host, Ted. Now, I apologise about not opening up with a episode for this weekend yesterday, but I was somewhat preoccupied with going to a pub for the first time in 4.5 months with a very dear friend of mine. Mainly because the pub that we were going to is the pub that I currently work at, and it was the first time, like this week, that it opened up in like about 4.5 months, I think. So it was just a big occasion, hence the reason why there was no episode yesterday. But instead, I'm going to be doing an episode today, tomorrow, and then one on Monday, so I hope you guys will stay tuned for that. So today we're taking a look at something we haven't taken a look at for a while, and that is a Belgian fruit beer. Now, we've taken a look at Fruity style or Kriek style beers before, and we've taken a look at a couple of lambic, apple beers before as well. So today we're taking a look at something kind of along those lines. We're taking a look at Floris Passion, which is a passion fruit flavoured Belgian blonde beer. Now, again, as with some of my previous Belgian drinks, there's not really much to describe about this, because obviously most of the writing on the back is either in French, Flemish or German, or Dutch. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell a lot about this drink. It was, if I remember correctly, I think it was $2.49 from the wine barrel on Western Road. It was either $2.49 or $2.69, and I think that's a fair enough price for a bottle this size. It's 330 millilitres. It's quite weak. It's 3.6% alcohol volume, but then again, that would give me the impression that this is just more like something you'd have to drink as a relaxation and to kind of like start off a day of drinking, in a nice, light, flavoursome way, which is what I'm hoping this is going to be like. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. I got to say, I really like the design of the label. It just gives an image of a really nice bit of Belgian countryside, and I doubt that passion fruit is native to Belgium, but still, it's a nice, colourful, wholesome image. So I'll give that a 10 out of 10. A very nicely, handsomely designed bottle. But as always, we've got to give ourselves a good sniff of the drink first in order to give ourselves hopefully a good first impression. So open it up. Right, and then let's give ourselves a little sniff to it. Oh wow, yeah, no, there's definitely a strong smell of passion fruit in this. Whew. It immediately hits you. It is genuinely like smelling a pint of passion fruit juice. It's quite pungent, and I imagine the smell of it would possibly strike some people with slightly sort of more sensitive and mild senses of smell as being a bit overwhelming, or maybe just a little bit shocking to the senses. I quite like strong flavours, so I don't mind it so much, but it's a nice smell. I just feel like it could be sort of maybe toned back a bit, but still, it smells nice, so give it a 7.25 out of 10 for the smell. So yeah, good first impression. But anyways, or at least when I remember to do so, quick palate cleanser of water before the drink. Now I've got to finish off this episode quickly because I'm just about to watch the FA Cup final between Arsenal and Chelsea, and then I'm going to be meeting up with a friend later for some drinks. So, socially distanced, I am a responsible man. But yeah, bottoms up, and happy weekend to everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Oh my, that's more sour than I thought it was going to be. Peculiar. See, it's funny because generally speaking, this is actually a nice beer. I'll just say that from the offset. But there is a few sort of small characteristics I think are holding it back. Generally, its texture is quite smooth, but the finish is perhaps got a bit too much fizz in it, so it's slightly harder to swallow down than some other Belgian lambic or Kriek style fruit beers. And while I understand that obviously passion fruit is a slightly sour sort of fruit, it is quite sour. Not to the point of like, you know, a jawbreaker or something like that, but it does catch you quite off guard. And usually Belgian lambic or Kriek style fruit beers are fairly sweet, and I don't know, I feel like probably the sourness is probably what will hold it back from being given a higher rating by some other people, and for that I can't really blame them if they do that, because sourness is obviously not a popular flavour for a lot of people, so it's hard to wholesale recommend this because of that, and also the fact that the finish of the texture is slightly like less smooth than I was kind of hoping it would be. I mean, generally speaking though, this is like actually a pretty good fruit beer. Like it's just like the flavour, like the kind of the finish is kind of like the main weakness of this, I think. Like overall the fruit flavour and the sourness isn't actually that bad in this. It's just at the end of the finish, like it does like that hit you with a burst of sourness that is a bit much, like it's a bit concentrated, and I feel like if that was like spread a bit more throughout like a sip of this beer, like a bit more smoothly, it would be, you know, considerably higher rated. And same with the texture as well. Generally speaking, like though, there's not a huge amount I can't fault about it, but there are considerable problems, the two I mentioned, so I think, I don't know. I don't know if it's quite good enough to give it a 7.5, but it's definitely not bad enough to give it a 7 out of 10, so I think a 7.25 is fair. I think it's way, way above average, but there is just like a couple of considerable points that hold it back from being an elite level beer, so anything from like 8.5 and above. And I do think that like the two aspects I mentioned will sort of probably muck up the drinking experience for some people, which, while I actually really enjoy this beer, and no, honestly, I probably will go out of my way to get a couple of bottles of this again for myself in the future, because I do genuinely enjoy it that much. I would understand if someone drank some of this and then said they don't like it, but me, I personally really like this. I mean, admittedly, I have a bit of a bias and soft spot towards, you know, Belgian fruit beers like this. So, admittedly, while this isn't one of the best ones I've ever had, it's still pretty damn good overall, so yeah, I would actually recommend it, and I would say that like $2.49 to $2.69 is about a good price for this. So, yeah, take that as you will, and if you guys did like this video, or at least found it somewhat informative, leave a like, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see what I can do, but I can't promise anything, but I will have a try. And then if you are interested in any other shenanigans I get up to on the internet, I'll leave the links to, my social medias and other YouTube channels in the video description below. Pardon me. And yes, as I said earlier, I hope you're all doing well at the moment. If you're not, I do hope things get better promptly, and I hope we're all able to get back to normal lives at the soonest possible juncture. And if you'll excuse me, I'm now going to go finish this off with maybe a couple more beers afterwards, and some salami crisps while watching the FA Cup final. So have a good Saturday, everyone, and have a good rest of the weekend. I'll see you next time at the bar on Ted's Booze Cellar, and remember, drink responsibly and know your limits.